analysis for proficiency in English. As usual, let us start with the snippets. The very first one, here you can see, not that important, objectionable remarks. There is one noun, remarks. Remarks, you can also think of words like statement, comment, someone saying something against, and objectionable means not acceptable. Based on the word objectionable, you have to think of words like not acceptable. Who said this against whom? Mahua Moitra booked for comments on Shah. She must have made comments against Amit Shah, and based on that, someone must have said objectionable remarks. Very simple words, nothing to learn as such. Let us go to the next snippet. This is an important news item, comes under current affairs. You may get question, chances are very bright. What is this about? Raman Magsaysay Award. Magsaysay Award. Who got this award this year? Educate Girls. Indian NGO wins Magsaysay Award. Indian NGO, non-governmental organization, they're also non-profit, and NGOs. They usually work for environment, downtrodden people, human trafficking, rights of women, child labor. These are the areas they touch. Coming to this organization, they must be focusing on education for girls. Educate Girls, Indian NGO wins Magsaysay Award. An important current affairs bit and also English proficiency point of view. Coveted award means most sought after. We use the word coveted with a job, the most coveted job, most sought after. Confer, CONFER, confer the award, win the award, bestow the award. All these words you have to recollect based on the word award. Coming to the next one, 6 arrested Kuki militants kill Thadao tribal leader. This goes with Manipur. In the past, I did so many editorials based on the turmoil, turbulence in Manipur, clash between two tribal groups. Now it looks like everything is under control, but unfortunately, a new development. Kuki militants, those people who take to arms and try to take law and order into their control, try to kill others, we use the word militants. Kuki militants killed Thadao tribal leader. Usually when it comes to, there's one word here, militants. Imagine based on arms and ammunition, based on weapons, if soldiers revolt against a government, we use the word revolt, mutiny, sepoy mutiny, and also revolt. Sometimes what happens, a revolt may fail, and that we also use the word coup, COUP. The letter P is silent, coup. And sometimes it may fail. Then we use the word fiasco. Fiasco means what? Complete failure. And coming to tribal leader, this context, usually if you take the tribal world, tribe A, tribe B, they keep on killing. Imagine one person from tribe A kills a person in tribe B. The family of that particular person may not attack this person. Entire tribe attacks. It is like person to person, need not be the same person. This goes down the generations, and we use the word feud, FEUD. And blood is involved, then we say there's one important expression, blood feud. Have you heard of this any time? Nowadays we use the word, that's right. We use the word factionism. You must have heard of the word faction, factions, faction groups, factionism. But tribal people, we use the word blood feud. It goes down the generations. Coming to the next one, whatever you see, usually this particular thing goes with an important, you have heard of that. Today you are here, Naidu. And it goes with important information, data point, unusual patterns in deleted voter lists, a data probe. There's one important word here, probe. We have got many a time. Datum singular, data plural. But you can also use the word data as a collective noun. And data, plural of datum, takes a plural verb. The word data as a collective noun takes a singular verb. That means what? We can say data is, we can say data are. Both are absolutely perfect. Probe means investigation. Usually, some people they try to find out more about what is happening in others' lives. Then we use the expression probing nature, which is not a good nature. Deleted voter list, and this has been in the limelight for quite some time. Ah, yes, Sephology, very good, Naidu. Sephology goes with elections. In our country, the first person to introduce the concept of sephology, prediction of election results, and the person is Pranay Roy, the one who started NDTV. Have you heard of Pranay Roy? He is known as the first sephologist of India. He is a head of, it is his brainchild, NDTV. Not NDTV. Which one is that national one? NTV, not NDTV. Or NTV or NDTV. I myself got confused. There's one Telugu channel. I think Telugu channel is NTV, national one is NDTV. That's right. Pranay Roy, sephologist. Unusual pattern. Something is unusual, abnormal, aberration, deviation, anomaly. All these words you have to recollect. Goes with Bihar elections and SIR. I have done many a time. Here you can see our national sport, hockey, and it talks about what? The architect. I'm sure all of you know the word architect. Architect goes with buildings. But here, architect means one who designs a victory of a particular team, one who leads the team to victory. The architect means the main player. Harmanpreet powers India into super force, perhaps quarterfinals they must have entered. Oddity, also you can. Abnormal, weird, strange, all these words you have to recollect. Coming to architect, architects they design the buildings. When you talk about buildings, design aspect, one word, futuristic buildings. When you see a particular building, you may get awestruck. You may say, wow. And that is based on the design. Futuristic. Futuristic means ultra modern. Ultra modern designs, we use the word futuristic. And you should also recollect, yes, Pravalika, you have to recollect the word skyscrapers. And which is a city known as City of Skyscrapers, New York. New York has another name, the Big Apple. New York has two names, the City of Skyscrapers and also the Big Apple. All these you have to recollect. Coming to the main headline from today's front page of the Hindu paper, an important development, it goes with India, China commit to fair border solution, Prime Minister. FAIR, fair border solution. Fair has New York, that's right. Uncle Sam for US. For the US, we use the big brother, Uncle Sam. But for New York, we use City of Skyscrapers and Big Apple. Coming to this one, fair. When we talk about complexion of a person, usually people make a mistake. They tend to use the words like white, black, wrong. You have to say fair complexion, dark complexion. Never use words like white, black. Fair complexion, dark complexion. But many Indians are in between. What is a word for those people? Wheatish or brownish. The typical complexion of an Indian, wheatish or brownish. Fair has another meaning. One more meaning, fair treatment means what? Just treatment, proper treatment. Third one, village fair. On a particular day, once a week, people gather, they sell and buy. That is known as a village fair. But there's another word, who is the Sangeeta has come up with that, and also Kranti Kumar, FARE, fair. How much is the fare from here to Delhi? Means how much does it cost from Hyderabad to Delhi? That's a different meaning altogether. Fair border solution, India and China are victims of terrorism, Prime Minister's statement. Not much to learn as such. Coming to the snippets this side, spokesperson for Hamas killed in Gaza says Israel. There's one important word. What is that? Spokesperson. Spokesperson is the one who speaks on behalf of a particular party. You take the BJP, the Congress, one person talks about the party stand or the stance, and that particular person is called the spokesperson. Sometimes we say spokesman, spokeswoman, but general neuter gender, spokesperson. And you all know the background information. Trouble, the reason for that October 7th attack between Israel and Hamas. and it seems Israel's statement. Spokesperson for Hamas got killed. They must have killed him. A statement given by Israel. Coming to the next one, Telangana passes bills to allow 42% quota for BCs. Telangana passes a bill regarding what? Reservations, an important topic. And reservation for whom? BCs, what percentage? 42%. Nothing to learn as such, English point of view. There's another one over here. Amid protests, Indonesia cuts perks for MPs. So many words for consolidation. Amidst, what do they mean? In the middle of. Basically, no difference when it comes to meaning, but the spellings are different, the forms are different. Both mean the same. What is the meaning? In the middle of, first word. And protest. Our students know you should recollect all the words related to protest, opposition, and procession, placards, slogans, crowd, go helter skelter, lathi charge, and also looting. All these words you have to recollect. Total chaos, chaotic situation. And here we have another snippet. People mispronounce wow, wow. How do you pronounce this? Wow. And Ukraine vows to hit back after Russian attack. Last week I read out one snippet because of Russian attack. They attacked the capital of Ukraine. 17 people got killed. Now, perhaps based on that, Ukraine wants to retaliate. What is the meaning of the word retaliate? Retaliation means to get hit back, retaliate. It talks about that. Coming to the pick, usually we have a pick. What does it say? Calm waters. Calm waters, you should also think of an expression, still waters. Still waters run deep. Have you heard of this any time? Still waters run deep. In a way, those who have a lot of knowledge, they keep calm and quiet. Those with half knowledge make more noise. Based on that, we have another idiomatic expression. Empty vessels make more noise, and we also say still waters run deep. And when you think of water, you have to think of shallow waters, deep waters. How do you measure the depth? Fathom. One fathom is equivalent to 6 feet, I suppose. And fathom has another meaning. What does it mean? To understand something. I can't fathom what the master says. Means what? I can't understand, I can't comprehend. All these words you have to think. Edu to idle. Bid adieu. Bid adieu means what? Say goodbye. To idle. Idle, ideal, ideal. All the three words you have to know for sure. He is my idol, role model, icon. All these words one side. Ideal, ideal couple, ideal place, ideal job means the most suitable. Idle, to waste your time. Don't idle away your time means don't waste your time. Otherwise, nothing to learn. Kashmiri Pandits carrying an idol of Ganesha for immersion in the Jhelum River at Srinagar on Sunday. Here we have 33,326 Sikhs seek re-inclusion on Bihar electoral rolls. Rahul Gandhi, opposition leader's epitome. Very good. Who is this? Satish Kumar. Epitome means a typical model, a model or a role model who can be a role model, and others want to imitate or copy. Imitate, copy, usually negative connotations, but when you want to imitate someone who is perfect or flawless or impeccable, then it is called emulate, a better word. Emulate is a positive word, imitate is a negative word. And blind imitation of someone or something, we use the word aping, ape Western culture. Ape Western culture means blindly imitate Western, abuse, in fact, not culture. Already Rahul Gandhi has criticized about 66 lakh voters' names missing. Now it says, according to one particular survey, I think, no, based on this, Supreme Court has given a chance to these people to represent. The name is not there, they got a chance. 33 lakh 326 Sikhs re-inclusion on Bihar electoral rolls. Re-inclusion means the names have been removed. They want the names to be included. Coming to the next one, government to offer immediate liquidity, compliance relief to exporters hit by tariffs. There are two important words. One is liquidity, compliance. Liquidity, in a way, cash, and comply with means to adhere to follow, to stick to, comply, compliance. Comply takes a preposition with. You all know because of Donald Trump, his tariffs, a lot of exporters got affected, especially in Gujarat, diamond industry. 1 lakh people lost their jobs one shot. And based on that, government is trying to help them. Coming to the next one, the last one, I suppose. Mini cloudbursts are on the rise, says IMD chief. Cloudburst, mini cloudburst, or on the rise. On the rise is an important phrase. Taxes, tariffs, levy, impose, all these words you have to recollect. Very good. Chandani and Pravalika. Coming to this IMD chief, his statement, what does he say? Many cloudbursts are on the rise. On the rise is a phrase you have to remember. Rise, rose, risen, raise, raised, raised. We have discussed many a time. That's all from the front page of today's Hindu paper. Let us go to today's editorial. At the outset, today's editorial is an important editorial. It goes with the field of education. I've given the acronym SLEEPS. What is the first E? The SLEEPS. If you take, there are two E's. The first E stands for education. It goes with education, it goes more with research scholars, young scientists, researchers. And any country, if you want R&D or research, two things are required. In any country for that matter, it could be East, it could be West. One, we need excellent infrastructure for the research scholars to conduct research. Second, we need funds to continue with the research. This particular editorial focuses more on the funds dimension, delay in disbursement of funds, and impact of that on the research scholars and the young scientists. Career point of view, what is the negative impact? Broadly, that's about the editorial. And coming to enrichment, all these dimensions. But today's editorial, a word of caution. In my opinion, you have to read an editorial like this twice or thrice. Not easy to comprehend. It goes with education, it goes with research and scientific research, scientific endeavors. Not easy to comprehend. Comprehend, one reason. Second reason, why should you read twice or thrice? Today we have got more than 15 words. 15, 1, 5, more than 15 words that were rich in vocabulary, effective English. Third reason, you may get something like this in the exam as a passage. Education, one of the topics, sleeps, one of the areas, an important one. Present scenario, it is important, you may get in the exam. What is the reason? Traditionally, if you take the Western countries and Eastern countries, the Orient, and Orient means East, Occidental means Oriental, East, Occidental, West. Western countries, the first world countries, they have the infrastructure, they have the funds for research. But third world countries, they don't have. So many research scholars from India, in the past, they would go abroad for research, they would get opportunities, they would do research, they would get faculty positions. Now it is like a complete turnover for two reasons. One reason, Donald Trump, the main reason, after Donald Trump, he became the president of the US for the second term. He stopped funds to the universities, the first problem. He has his own reasons, can be justified, no second thoughts about that. Then he wanted Americans to be given preference, not people from outside. That also can be justified. But whatever the reasons can be justified, cannot be justified, it doesn't matter. Now Indian research scholars have no option. It's like Hobson's choice. They have to stay back in India and they have to continue with the research. If they have to stay back, they have to continue with research in our country. They need funds, they need infrastructure. When they don't get that, it results in disappointment. They may think of changing the career. This is a broad, in a nutshell. Let us see the words first. As I said, so many words, I cannot present the word profiles of all these 15 words. It takes almost an hour only for the vocab part. So today, for a change, what have I done? I brought all the words because we have newcomers quite often. And all the words are part of speech meaning. These two are important, the basic level. First one, reminiscent. Reminiscent means reminding one of something suggestive of the past. When you see something, when you read something, you think of the past. Then you say reminiscent of the past. An important word goes with formal English. Part of speech adjective. Malaise also we have got. Part of speech noun, a general feeling of discomfort, unease, or discontent. Not happy with the situation, something is wrong with the situation, then we use the word malaise. Illness also you can think of. Labyrinthine, part of speech adjective, complicated, intricate, maze like, difficult to navigate. Sometimes what happens when you try to do something, you can enter, but you cannot go through. You find it very difficult to navigate. Then we use the word maze. We also use the word labyrinthine. Both the words are very important. Next one is contend. To struggle against the difficulties, to assert something strongly. There are two meanings, contend. One, to struggle. When you face a lot of problems, obviously you struggle. The other one, you try to assert yourself. Assert means to state something firmly. Very important word. Assert something strongly. I always tell youngsters you should be assertive. Means whatever you want to say, you have to say in a firm manner without any vacillation. Deter, part of speech verb, to discourage or prevent someone from doing something. Cumbersome, it goes with the word work. Cumbersome, grapple with, yes. Cumbersome work means what? Part of speech adjective. Complicated, inefficient, or unwieldy. Hard to manage. Some work is not easy to manage, very difficult to manage. Then we use the word cumbersome work. An important word. Milieu. Milieu. It is a pronunciation M-I-L, mil. Then you have to use a ya sound, year. Milieu. Means a part of speech noun. People say milieu. Milieu is not correct. A person's social, cultural, or professional environment. Your entire environment, for that you can use this word. Falter, an important word we have got a few times, to hesitate, lose strength, or fail. Initially, something is very strong, it goes well. Suddenly, it loses the momentum or the force, then we say falter. The project has faltered. Teething troubles, idiom, initial difficulties faced in the early stages of a project or system. When you start a project, you start something, you face initially a lot of problems. For those problems, we say stammer, falter, stammer, stutter, all these words you have to recollect. Good, Naidu. I appreciate that. Initial problems. Erratic, unpredictable, inconsistent, irregular. Erratic behavior, unpredictable. For that, we also use the word mercurial. We got it last week, I suppose, regarding Donald Trump. The writer used one word, mercurial. Means unpredictable. Good, who is that? Chandini, exactly. Coming to collateral damage, unintended harm or damage caused as a side effect of an action. You do something, and because of that, unintentionally you trouble someone, you cause damage to someone. That is known as collateral damage. Contingencies, as prospective bankers, government officers, you have to know this. Contingency fund, a typical combination. Possible future events or conditions that must be planned for. We also use the expression. Unforeseen, something like emergency, contingency fund, unforeseen incidents. You keep some amount that is known as contingency fund. These are the words we have got. More words are there. Now let us see how the editorial starts, how it goes. But I've provided the background information, and today I have brought the mocks, comprehension-based, error location, phrase replacement, fillers, like mini mock we are going to have today. First you listen, then you can answer questions based on comprehension skill. Recurrent irritant. Recurrent, I'm sure all of you know. Repeated, what is the word we use? Recurrent. Irritant, something that irritates, irritating, frustrating, irritating, these words. Recurrent irritation, irritant. What is recurrent irritant? On funds and research in India, there are two words over here. One is funds, and the other one, the main thing, it's all about research, the problems being faced by research scholars of our country, and funds and research. But what is the main idea? Delay in disbursement, an important word. Disburse goes with money, disbursement of money, disbursement of salaries, disbursement of wages, means a distribution of wages. Delay in disbursement of funds. In this context, distribution of funds and salaries can derail research projects. Derail. If you take a railway track, usually people use the word railway track, but these are known as rails. And the train goes on the rails. When the train goes off the rails, we use the word derailment. Derailment means going off the rails. Rails are those two. People use the word track, and derail here means to go off their track or to not able to continue or complete the work. Derail means going off their track. In a nutshell, what does it mean? Research scholars on their own, they cannot spend money from the pocket. They need funds from the center. They need excellent infrastructure. They can focus on research. When the funds get delayed, the salaries get delayed, then they may get disturbed and the research may take a beating. Then it is not advisable. It talks about that. What is a stimulus to write this? Some women got selected or they have been chosen to get the funds, but they haven't received. It is about that is a stimulus. Time is of the essence in science. What does it mean? When it comes to science, when it comes to research, everything should be done on time. If there's a delay, the whole scenario may change because research does not depend on one person, one particular aspect. It's a collaborative effort. The funds, the infrastructure, the stakeholders, and the tie-ups together at a particular time, relevance that goes with a research. Anything gets delayed, the purpose is defeated. Time. So, what is time? Time is of the essence in science. The report that 75 women selected for the Department of Biotechnology's BioCare program have received. This is, I always tell students when it comes to either or, neither nor. You can also say either, neither. Either or is rather easy, but neither nor, sometimes it troubles. What is the reason? A simple sentence like he knows neither English nor Hindi. Anyone can comprehend. He knows sounds positive, but what is the meaning of the sentence? He doesn't know Hindi, he doesn't know English. He knows neither Hindi nor English. But the same thing, lengthy sentence, not easy under pressure. Look at this one. The report that 75 women selected for the Department of Biotechnology's BioCare program have received, sounds positive, neither sanction letters nor salaries. Means they haven't received the sanction letters, they haven't received the salaries. Negative connotation. He is reminiscent of, it reminds us of something. What does it remind of? Of an irksome and persistent malaise. Irksome also means irritating. Irksome and persistent. We have got the word persistent many a time. Persist means what? Exist for a long time. Persistent malaise means some sort of negative thing in India's research administration. Young researchers already contend with, means they grapple with in this context, scant laboratory space. Scant means limited, scanty, shortage. Cumbersome university bureaucracies. Cumbersome means not easy to handle. And bureaucracies, bureaucrat and administrator, when they impose a lot of hurdles, then we say bureaucratic hurdles. For that, there's one important idiom. What is that idiom? Red tapeism. They have given many a time. I'm sure all of you know red tape. Cumbersome university bureaucracies, labyrinthine grant applications, means very complicated to get grants, uneven mentorship and uncertain career prospects. Mentorship. One of the differences between Western culture, Eastern culture, university academics. Western culture, Western universities, the guide plays a role of a guide in the real sense, literally. Will not impose his ideas. He will encourage a student, the research scholar, to take up and pursue his own ideas. He'll be a mentor in the real sense. On the contrary, coming to our country, at least in the past, now I don't know, guide will try to impose his ideas on the research scholar, and the research scholar has to go with the guide. Usually, the scholar doesn't have the liberty or freedom to decide on a particular topic, to go about based on that particular topic. Here, uneven mentorship, uncertain career prospects. Salaries and fellowships are modest in relation to living costs. Living costs, imagine 10,000, that is not 10,000, not nowadays. Let us say living costs about 30,000 per month. They get about 20,000 as scholarship or fellowship. That won't be sufficient. It talks about that. Modest in relation to living costs, which it deters, means it stops or prevents talented graduates from pursuing research. When do people pursue, youngsters pursue a particular field? When the job is secure, when the pay is lucrative, in the sense he or she can spend money to live a proper lifestyle, at the same time can save some money also, then they prefer that particular field. Here, that is not the scene. It's a completely different scenario. Even those determined to stay are often trapped in protracted postdoctoral or contractual roles without long term security. Some people are passionate about research and they want to stay back in that field. Even those people have to face a few problems. Like what? They are trapped in protracted postdoctoral or contractual roles. Protracted means what? Extended. Without long term security. In this milieu, in this social environment, a scheme such as BioCare promises an independent foothold, while its failure to deliver on time magnifies the insecurity and discouragement. Against this backdrop, a good project, promising project, BioCare, has come into existence, and it promises something, an independent foothold, but it has failed. While its failure to deliver on time, because the editorial talks about delay, that means could not deliver on time. And you have to recollect the difference between in time, on time. In time means before time. On time means exact time. Yes, Chandini, it's you have to recollect that. Magnifies the insecurity and discouragement. Opportunities for postdoctoral work and tenure track openings abroad are also narrowing. This is what I was talking about. In the past, many research scholars from this country would go to the US or Europe to continue with postdoctoral research. Or after masters, they would go to the US, they would do research, PhD over there. Now those things have changed because of two reasons. One, after Donald Trump, the second term, during his second term, he has stopped funds to the universities, the first problem. He insisted on preferring or giving preference to Americans first, then people from outside. Both can be justified. He has his own reasons. But because of that, competition has become more. Faculty positions not easy to get. And obviously, research scholars of our country, they are left with only one choice, like Hobson's choice. What is that choice? Stay back in the country, continue with the research. Opportunities for postdoctoral work and tenure track openings abroad are also narrowing. Immigration regime, two important meanings are there. One, the current regime means what? Current government, incumbent government. But regime also means system. Tax regime means what? Tax system. Immigration regimes in the West have become tighter, while competition for limited faculty posts has intensified. They stopped taking every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Now they are very particular about whom to take, whom not to take, and obviously competition goes up. Not easy to get the faculty position over there. For Indian scientists, thus, based on this scenario, what is the option they are left to with? For Indian scientists, thus, the domestic research ecosystem is increasing the arena in which their careers will unfold. Domestic research ecosystem is increasingly the arena. Arena means a field, sphere, realm, domain, all these words are within the country, then indigenous. Good, Chandini. And tax regime, Sangeeta, yes. Naidu, Hobson's choice, exactly. In which their careers will unfold. Now they have to explore their careers within the country. They cannot think of going abroad. Delays in disbursing fellowships and grants can derail entire careers. The main idea is being reiterated at the fag end of the first part of the editorial. Any delay in disbursement of funds can derail entire careers, which is not at all acceptable, not advisable. Let us see what the second part of the editorial says. India can no longer afford to treat such breakdowns. Can no longer afford. Afford has two different meanings. One goes with financial dimension. If I go to a showroom to buy a car, my budget is 10 lakhs, the cost of the car is 15 lakhs, then I will say I can't afford that car. This goes with the financial dimension. Another meaning of the word afford, I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to go there. I can't afford to say that. Means if I do it, if I say that, I may have to face a negative consequence or negative impact. India can no longer afford to treat such breakdowns as teething troubles. Usually, the government can say we are trying to change everything, and because we are trying to change everything, because we are starting new projects, we are experiencing teething problems. India cannot say that, can't afford to say that at this juncture, because if it still talks about the teething problems, not acceptable. The country aspires. What is the reason? India wants to go to a different level in the field of research and scientific endeavor. The country aspires to expand its global scientific standing, to convert research into innovation, and to train a generation of scientists to address pressing challenges in health, energy, agriculture, climate resilience. India wants to, you're all aspirants. Like that country also has aspirations. In the field of science and technology, what is the aspiration of India? It wants to create a new generation of scientists who can deal with the challenges that go with spheres like health, agriculture, and technology, climate resilience, all these aspects, energy also. These ambitions are incompatible. There's one important word. Compatible means matching. Incompatible, they don't match. These ambitions are incompatible with a funding administration. Aspirations are good, ambitions are good. Imagine there's a young person wants to become an IAS officer or a bank probation officer or a bank. He or she wants to get a bank job or a government job through SSC. Ambition, nothing wrong. Dream, nothing wrong. Aspirations, nothing wrong. But the effort, the hard work should match the dream. The hard work should match the aspiration. Otherwise, it becomes a problem. You can't expect a positive result. These ambitions are incompatible with a funding administration that falters at basic execution. Funding administration, where does it falter? Where does it fail, lose a momentum? Basic execution. What is the basic execution? Disbursal of salaries, disbursal of funds. There itself it falters. You can't expect the country go to the higher level. Cannot have the global presence, global scientific standing. The switch to the Treasury single account system. This is also an important bit to be remembered. The switch, they're trying to switch to a new system, and they're giving that as a reason for the delay. The switch to the Treasury single account system, the stated reason for the BioCare delay, may strengthen transparency. It is good. The new system may strengthen transparency, openness, but in the long run, but there are several reasons for urgent administrative maturity right now. No doubt the shift is going to be useful in the long run, but in the present situation, something has to be done on war footing, means with urgency. Several reasons for urgent administrative maturity right now. Foremost, now there are certain things administration has to do. The writer opines, editorial opines. To justify that statement, the writer comes up with two or three reasons. First one, first and foremost, science is time sensitive. Experiments must begin with when facilities, collaborators, and seasonal or biological conditions align. Align means what? Match. They all have to align. That is very important. Only then you can conduct. Yes, Kranti Kumar, you have to recollect. Administrator, masculine gender, and administratrix, feminine gender. Alignment is very important. First thing, delays break these cycles irreversibly. If they delay, then the whole thing is gone. The cycle is broken and we cannot change. Irreversible. This is the first one. Second, when schemes that are progressive on paper fail to reach beneficiaries, the resulting credibility deficit will make it harder to attract domestic talent and international partnerships. Something looks quite positive on the paper, progressive on paper. Execution, they falter. Then it results in credibility deficit. Credible, believable. Credibility deficit. If there's no credibility, why will I trust someone? And if there's no credibility with the administration, then obviously you cannot attract domestic talent and international partnerships. Third factor, equity demands consistency. Consistency also equally important. Women scientists, early career fellows, and those from underrepresented backgrounds already struggle with systemic barriers. All these people, certain categories, they are grappling with certain problems. And these problems go with the entire system. Systemic barriers means the entire system. Erratic means what? Unpredictable. Access to funds affects them disproportionately. Definitely it will make a negative impact. How does the editorial end? Scheme design must incorporate rather than externalize enforcement. When they design the scheme, they have to think of implementation, execution. They should not consider that as an external factor. Scheme design must incorporate rather than externalize enforcement or implementation. Transparency must be implemented with contingencies so that beneficiaries do not become collateral damage in bureaucratic transitions. When their focus is on transparency, at the same time, they should focus on contingencies they have to keep in mind. Otherwise, it will result in collateral damage so that beneficiaries do not become collateral damage in bureaucratic transitions. You try to do something with a good intention, but unintentionally you trouble someone else. It is like collateral damage. Accountability must be tightened at the level of ministries and program managers. Accountable, answerable, that should be tightened. Ministerial level and also program managers. Policymakers must recognize that a delay in accounting procedures for them is an interruption of livelihoods and careers for researchers. When you ask policymakers regarding the delay, what do they say? Accounting procedures for them, they focus more objectively. But for research scholars, what is it? It is an interruption of livelihoods and careers for researchers. They may lose their livelihoods, they may lose a passion to do research, and they go out of that career, they may explore new careers. It makes a lot of difference. It ends on that note, an important editorial. Now try to answer the question based on comprehension skill. Try to get all the 5 correct. First question, what is the central issue highlighted in the editorial? Lack of global recognition of Indian scientists, not correct. Delayed disbursement of funds and salaries in research projects. It is not about decline in the number of students opting for science as a career, not about competition from foreign universities, not about failure of Indian scientists to secure patents. It is about delay in disbursement of funds. Obvious. B is the answer. Which of the following is not mentioned as a challenge faced by young researchers in India? The writer talks about a few challenges faced by the young researchers in our country. Of these 5 options, one option has not been mentioned. Your job is to find out that particular one. Scant laboratory space mentioned, cumbersome bureaucracy mentioned, high cost of fellowships in relation to living expenses, hold this one, uncertain career prospects mentioned, abundant postdoctoral openings with long-term security, not this also mentioned, but actually high cost of fellowships in relation to living expenses. It is opposite. This is not easy because abundant postdoctoral openings with long-term security mentioned, not available. Mentioned means how? They are not available. Here, high cost. One particular sentence talks about the writer has used the word modest. The fellowships are modest compared to the living costs. Means what? High cost, not the right word. High cost of fellowships in relation to living expenses. That has not been mentioned. Fellowships are not up to the expected level. Answer should be C, not E. This is also not mentioned, but I think not would have been better. If you take abundant postdoctoral openings with long term security available for Western people, not in our country, that point has been touched. But here, quite contrary has been touched, quite opposite has been touched. Coming to the next one, in the context of the passage, what is the phrase? Time is of the essence in science. Time is of the essence in science. In science, what is important? Time, timing. Science, it means what? Science project should be completed within a financial year. No. Delay in research funding can cause irreversible disruption in projects. Hold this one. Researchers must work overtime, not mentioned. Scientific discoveries depend on external competition. No. Science is a long term process requiring decades of patience. No. So, what is the answer? B is the answer. Delay in research funding can cause irreversible disruption in projects. The tone, what is the tone of the editorial? The writer talks about the present scenario, which is not positive, and also advises certain points what to do, what not to do. It is not optimistic, not neutral, not satirical, not indifferent. Advisory with concern. At the same time, shows concern towards young research scholars of our country. Fourth one is what? B. Yes, very good. Next one. What is the risk of if progressive schemes like BioCare fail to reach beneficiaries on time? If these are progressive schemes like BioCare don't reach the beneficiaries, here research scholars on time, what is the risk? What will happen? What is the negative impact? Researchers will migrate to the private sector. It will cause a credibility deficit, discouraging domestic and international talent. Once there is credibility deficit, you cannot attract domestic talent, you cannot attract international talent. Based on that, B is the answer. Sanctions, no. Universities will stop, not correct. Women researchers will completely stop, not correct. Let us go to questions based on exam topics. First two questions based on fillers. Read the first one. Today, for a change, I have brought from today's editorial the questions also. That means you should be able to answer all the questions. Should not be a problem. Young researchers in India already contend with laboratory space, cumbersome bureaucracies, uncertain career prospects. Before this, we need an adjective. And it talks about a negative context. You cannot choose a positive word like abundant, luxurious, excessive, surplus. Scant, scanty means what? Limited. Shortage, dearth, lack. Good. Delays in disbursement of funds and salaries can entire careers. If they delay disbursement of salaries and grants, what will happen? What will be the impact? Again, you need a negative word. You cannot go for a positive word like enhance, improve, streamline, organize, magnify, increase, initiate, take the first step. Derail, that is a negative word. Derail. Answer is B. Coming to question number 19. India aspires to expand its global scientific standing, convert research into innovation, and training a generation of scientists. Here we have a question based on error location, and you got to read meticulously. Only then you will be able to find or spot the error. Tell me which part. I'll wait for your response. The same sentence, parts. No one has responded. India aspires to do what? Expand, convert. We have one more verb. Expand its global scientific standing, convert research into innovation, and training a generation of scientists. Here we cannot use a different word form or verb form. All the three verbs should be in the same form, basic form, and it comes under parallel construction or parallel expression. That means we have an error in the fourth part. It is not training, it should be train. Because here we have expand, convert, and train a generation of new scientists. Yes, very good. Train. Perfect. I appreciate that. Coming to the next one. Another question based on error location. Policymakers must recognize that a delay in accounting procedures for them are the interruption of livelihoods for researchers. This is also a good question, not easy under pressure. Already have listened, should be easy for you. But for a newcomer who has not read the editorial, not listened to the editorial analysis, a tough question. In the exam, same question, imagine, not easy to deal with. Policymakers must recognize that a delay in what? Delay in accounting procedures for them, there's a phrase, not important. Delay is singular. Then you cannot use a plural verb are. You have to say a delay is. That means which part has an error? A delay in accounting procedures for them, no. Is the interruption of livelihoods for researchers. Exactly. Not are, is. Phrase replacement, choose the most appropriate replacement. India can no longer afford to treat such breakdowns as teething trouble. Some options are quite funny. Teething troubles, toothache problems, trivial matters, silly matters, minor difficulties. Here we cannot use a noun in the singular form, it should be in the plural form. So what is the answer? Teething troubles. A is the answer. Very good, Naidu, first one to respond. That's all for today. I hope you guys have got enriched. Do read this editorial twice or thrice. Try to develop contextual awareness. Look at the sentence patterns. So many words, more than 15 words are there. Word spending time. We'll provide the PDF after the session. Access the PDF and spend some time. Enrich your proficiency in English. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.